All right. We back again. Look, this thing just keep trying to take us out, but we're gonna finish this conversation by any necessary.
We don't have a breakthrough.
Um,
We got to keep on going.
I know for real, there's a real one. But yeah, that's the name of the game with this podcast being super authentic. But yeah, basically, I just again I want to apologize to you, and I want you to also understand that I understand you more than you think. I think now this is like we like bonded even further. Like I get it. Um, and you know I I totally get it. I understand. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I'm so sorry that I offended you, and I do better understand the context. But basically, like I was saying, in so many other words, all monsters are human, and I'm not necessarily calling our father a monster. I'm calling
Yeah.
everybody a monster, like because you know, I know for a fact I have been a monster to people. You know, you probably have been displeasant to some people, especially people you
Yeah.
don't like. So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying we all a monster is a monster, but we all still have a human side. You know, no matter how crazy somebody may look, you know what I'm saying, we all still have a human side. I mean, about some of the craziest people in history, from like Ted Bundy to Jeffrey Dahmer or people like that who did all kind of uncalled for and heinous and cruel things to people. But at the end of the day, for example, think about like Jeffrey Dahmer parents. They rolled for him to the wheels fall off as they should because that's their son. And they like, look, I understand that what he did was wrong, but this is my baby. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It don't excuse the actions or make them right. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, they like this is still my child. And what do I look like turning my back on my child? I'm turning my back on the actions of my child, but I'm not turning my back on my child. You see what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
kind of like that. That's basically what I'm saying to you. Of course, I I understand the hurt from the action of what he did to you, of what our dad did to you. But I just I I'm speaking on me. I don't want to turn my back on him. I don't agree with the way that he went about it. Now that I know the story, but again, I just try to look at everybody from some kind of common ground. And sometimes when you are, and again, I'm not making excuses or anything. I'm just
Hmm.
saying
Hmm.
that for a
We
fact,
candidly talking, yeah.
when you are confronted with some information that you may or may not have been ready to hear, you can take that in all kind of ways, and it could just come off wrong. You could be like, "Whoa, I wasn't ready for that." Like, "Oh, whoa."
It's
Then,
been years and years and years now. It's kind of stayed the same.
right, right, and then you try to make light of it, because it's a heavy situation. Like I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not taking up. I'm not excusing any actions. All I'm saying is that, you know, no matter how bad somebody may look in your eyes, we're all human, and we all process things differently. We all take things differently. Some people may joke when it's not appropriate, or whatever. And again, I just apologize for I can't apologize for him. That is gonna have to be something between you and him, that y'all will have to get to a point where that is prayerfully resolved. I would love to do something where y'all can talk it out, but I know that that may be a process for later. But my thing is, I can only apologize for my part in your hurt. From the bottom of my heart, I would never purposely try to hurt you in any way. I
Oh,
love you
I never
entirely
thought it was
for that.
intentional at
I
all.
do.
I knew it wasn't. I knew it was because of the information was never. It was just kind of private. So I
Okay.
knew you didn't know. I never thought you were like, let me get up and hurt his feelings. It was just at that moment hearing that with what I had went through him and did. It was like, Damn.
Yeah, but I'm saying it because you acknowledge that it hurt your feelings. So I know that you understand that I didn't know the full story, but it still hurt your
Absolutely.
feelings. So that's what I'm saying. I would never intentionally try to hurt your feelings. I wouldn't hurt your feelings on accident or on purpose. Not even that time. I'm not the type of person like you. You
I
know
know you're
who
not.
I am. You can vouch for my character. Like
Right.
I don't want to hurt your feelings. I didn't even know I hurt your feelings. I mean, like you never said anything to me. I I almost wish now that you would have just corrected me then. But I mean, then again, it could have been
I
meant.
didn't want to hurt your feelings. I was like, I don't want to. It's like, and honestly, too, I know how sensitive you are because me and you are just almost two different sides of the same coin. I wasn't gonna put you in this place for you because you would have instantly took on my pain in that moment because that's who you are. Like you would have been like, "Damn, it's my brother. I love him, and now I hurt." And I was not trying to do that to you because that's you would have absorbed it that way. Um, so I just left it alone. I walked away and kept it to myself, and I said, "One day in life, we'll get to a place to talk about this."
Yep, and this was the time. So I'm happy. Look, and again, I'm not making light of your feelings, but
No, but I knew this
this
was
was
the
the time.
time.
Because I know somebody be like, "Oh, but she making light of his feelings, like he pouring his heart out." But no,
We having a discussion. It's how life goes.
I'm not making light of his feelings, guys. I
You know, I
promise.
always tell, and like just to jump off side track for a minute, I always tell my friends one of my biggest regrets in life is that me and you were not always around each other. Because every time I get around you, I'm like, my sister is like so similar to me. I feel like we're always missing in each other's life. Like even how you show up and you're like, I'll be your friend. I'm like, that's all I ever wanted was somebody to show up and just be my friend like
Right.
this. I'd be like, damn, especially like my friend, like I always tell her, I'm like, damn, it was such a benefit. You can see that we were missing out of each other's life. And it's kind of sad. But
Right.
whatever, we're grown now.
Well, it's not really sad. It's action plan time. Um, so it's action plan time for us to put all these words into action. Like I said, just being honest, I had kind of got to a point where I was tired because I felt like I was always the one that was trying and trying and trying and trying and trying and trying with all my siblings, and it's like it's always to no avail. So I just kind of gave up, and I was just like, whatever. If they want me to be in their life, then so be it. If they don't want me to be in their life, then I guess I don't have no brothers then. But the
Now, no, me and you, hold on, we got this now. We Thomas. Thomas not on.
look, hey, yeah, okay,
You
yeah.
cut out, not everybody except for me.
Look, hey, truth be told, we ain't even that. I mean, if you want to be real, we not
Well,
even
we
that.
heels doing something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love you, and I'm
I love you too.
genuinely,
I'm so happy
genuinely
we had
sorry.
this conversation too.
Yeah, me too. It's so needed, and this is like the entire point of of me doing this podcast. I mean, again, I go back to, I tell people this story almost every episode, and I'm surprised I didn't. At this point, it should be my disclaimer. The whole entire purpose of the Spilling Honey podcast is to talk about those tough situations, those sticky things, those uncomfortable topics that absolutely nobody wants to talk about. And as you can see, if you made it all the way to the end of this long ass episode, sorry, mama, but if you made it to the end of this long episode, you will know that this is really real. I mean, this is real as it get. I mean, we spilling it all,
Yeah, this
literally.
this.
No, here. So then that's the point because a lot of people be wanting to be fake. I mean, that's kind of what we were getting at earlier.
We
A lot of people
spilled
fake,
today though. We was
and baby,
we was
okay, I'm talking
spilling
about
the
broke.
honey.
I'm talking about broke the honey jar in pieces at this point. I mean, like it's shattered. Ain't no coming back from that. Ain't no putting that jar back together, baby. That jar is done, baby. That's going straight in the recycle bin. Cause see, I recycle over here, so glass is going straight in the recycle bin. It's going straight in the recycle bin and being repurposed into something else because a fun
Are
fact
you
that I
releasing this episode into one because it's a long episode?
I Probably, but I don't know. I might break it up into a couple of parts. I might release like part one, part two, part three. I think that's maybe what I'll do because it's kind of lengthy. Um, but yeah, I think this. I don't know if this is the longest one I did, but it's definitely probably one of the longest. So for sure. Okay, so to I guess to wrap this up. This is sad. I don't even want to wrap this conversation up, but to wrap at least this podcast up, me and you can always talk off off of the podcast,
Yeah.
but to wrap the podcast up, I guess the last question that I would ask is just to wrap it up. What advice do you have for someone who may be struggling mentally? In other words, my take on asking this question is it takes one to know one. And the reason why I picked you for this episode is because of course, both you and I have openly discussed that we struggle with anxiety and depression, and basically just what advice do you have for someone else, because sometimes it's easier when you're on the outside looking in at somebody else's life to just give them a nod on the back or a push on the back, if you will, or some type of support, or maybe it could be a piece of support that you wish that somebody would have gave you. It could be a piece of advice, it could be whatever, but basically a tidbit, a piece of advice, a piece of information that you would give to somebody who is listening to this, who could be struggling mentally.
I have, okay, I'm going to answer it two separate ways to close us out. For a person going through this, look for a reason to love yourself. It could be the smallest thing. It could be you make yourself laugh some days when you snap your fingers the wrong way. Look for a reason to love yourself because you can't get that from somebody else. For somebody on the outside window looking and trying to give advice to them, now I'm like tongue tied to everything. But for that person, be aware, love people when you can, try to meet negative situations with kindness and love, and be genuine. Long as you're genuine and you're showing up for people, no matter how situations play out, you're not wrong.
That's some good advice, and trust me, don't worry about feeling tongue tied. Baby, I've been tongue tied this whole episode, but we gonna thug it out. I'm just a naturally tongue tied person. You know me, I don't talk that much, so when I do talk, I automatically get nervous. Um, But I guess for me to wrap it up, I guess the advice that I would give to somebody is kind of what I said earlier, and I'll sprinkle in a few new things. Number one, take it one day at a time. Don't feel like if you're struggling mentally, like, I mean, just take it one day at a time, one problem at a time. Just break it down into smaller pieces. Cause for me, I feel like I'm one of them people. If I got 100 things on my plate, I have to do it in pieces. I can't do like 100 things at once. I have to like break it down. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and then once I'm done with that, then I'm gonna move on to this, and then I'm gonna move on to this and this. So for me, I would just say, especially if you're one of those people that is like overstimulated, I would say break it up into smaller pieces. Don't feel like you have to solve everything at once. Solve one problem at a time. You one person, solve one problem at a time. Number two, please give yourself grace. I don't know what you are struggling with, what is causing you to struggle mentally, whether it could be comparison. If you are struggling with comparison, please, 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 you just gotta know that number one, God created you exactly the way that you are supposed to be. You are in the exact lane that you are supposed to be in, even if it doesn't feel like it. So yeah, so in terms of comparison, just, I know it's easier said than done, but you got to take a step back and realize that the life you have is the life that you were meant to have. I understand that, some people's lives may seem a little bit more unfortunate than others, but you never know, like this, your misfortune right now, your misfortune right now could be your blessing, like in a matter of days, in a matter of weeks, in a matter of years, to where everything that you have went through can all just in one sudden moment just it made me think about what's his name? I think Billy Ocean, the song Suddenly. And I know that song actually has a totally different meaning, but just the word suddenly popped in my head, and I just thought about that song because then, like, literally, like, suddenly everything could just come together in your life. So I just say, take it one day at a time. You know, if you can, try your best to not compare yourself to other people, especially in our generation. We live in a TikTok generation where, like I said, I was talking about that earlier, but we live in a generation where it's people who 19 who freaking multimillionaires from TikTok videos, and you feel like, oh, I'm not a millionaire. I just work a regular job. You know, you know, that might be right, and you laughing, but I'm trying to be serious here, and you laughing in the middle of me trying to be serious. But baby, if that ain't the most sibling behavior, I don't know what is. But like, seriously, you may feel like, because a lot of us struggle with that. I like to say I struggle with that a lot, but like a lot of people struggle with that. But I would just say, you know, you are, no matter what it feels like, even if it's not pleasant right now, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And, you know, like I said, things will come together for you suddenly. But if you give up now, you're going to miss it. You know what I'm saying? If you give up now, you're going to miss it. And a lot of people give up right at the pinnacle, because right at the pinnacle of your breakthrough is when a lot of people give up. A lot of people tap out. A lot of people commit suicide right before they reach their break, or anything like that, or just extreme measures. I think about a lot of people. Like, I think about the girl I used to follow. Her name was darn, I think her name was like Chesley or something like that. Beautiful girl. She was like Miss America or something like that. And she was struggling internally. And again, you would look at her and think, this girl got it all. She beautiful, she young, she's successful, she on like Entertainment Tonight and everything. And this girl was struggling. And, she wasn't the only one, you know, and a beautiful soul, young, in her 30s, just like us. And gone. You know what I'm saying? Her parents got to live with that heartbreak. But it's like, I feel that she took her life, allegedly, because I did hear that she took her life, but I don't know the specifics for sure. So I'm gonna just use allegedly just to be safe. But she, took her life, to me, I feel like, right at the pinnacle of everything that was happening for her. Like, literally, she had just won like Miss America. She had like
I seen
graduated.
that.
She had graduated from law school. I'm talking about, like, just when everything was getting ready to come into place, it was just, I guess it was just too much. So I just say to somebody, don't give up now. If you listening to me, if you get this far, please don't give up now. Like, I know it's hard. I know it's rough, but please don't give up. Keep pushing. If you feel like nobody cares about you, I'm here telling you right now, I care about you. Look, I'm gonna speak for you and say we care about you. Look, look, I love you. You matter. Please just take it a day at a time. Don't rush it. Don't feel like you got to do 100,000 things. I mean, if you can make it through doing two things today, one thing today, celebrate those small wins. Like I was saying earlier, you know what I'm saying? Celebrate the small wins. If you get up